In today's session, we are going to solve a few problems based on applications of trigonometry, more specifically to heights and distances. Let's take a look at the first question. The angle of elevation of the top of an unfinished tower at a point 120 meters from its base is 45 degrees. So if I consider drawing a diagram, this is the ground, this is the unfinished tower. Now from a point 120 meters away from the base, so this particular point is the base of the tower and this is the top of the unfinished tower. The angle of elevation of the top from a point 120 meters away from its base is 45 degrees. So I could mark the particular point over here, select the point BP, and the distance of this point P from the base is 120 meters and the angle of elevation is observed to be 45 degrees. So this particular angle is the angle of elevation. So the angle of elevation of the top from this particular point is observed to be 45 degrees. How much higher must the tower be raised? So this tower needs to be raised. The question is, by how much does it need to be raised? That is, we want to find the length of this vertical line. How much higher should it be raised so that its angle of elevation becomes, from the same point, becomes 60 degrees. That is, this complete angle is 60 degrees. So let us mark these points. Let this be point A, B and C. So now I want to find, so in this case I want to now find the length of AB because that is the amount by which the tower is going to be raised. Now if I think about it, I can find AB in the following manner. First, I am going to pick the complete triangle APC, right? This is the complete triangle that I am going to pick. And from this particular triangle, I am going to find the length of AC. So I can say in triangle APC, I know that the angle is 60 degree now. So when you take this particular triangle APC, you should be forgetting about the side PB. So in triangle APC, now I know the adjacent side, I want to find the opposite side. So tan is the right trigonometric ratio. So I can say tan 60 is going to be the opposite side. The opposite side is AC. Divided by the adjacent side is PC, which is 120. I know that the value of tan 60 is root 3. So root 3 is going to be AC upon 120. And on cross multiplication, I therefore get AC is equal to 120 root 3 meters. Right? So I know that this complete length is therefore 120 meters. Now I can pick the triangle PBC. So now what I am going to do is I am going to pick the triangle PBC and from triangle PBC I am going to find the length of BC. So I can say in triangle PBC, if I take the angle 45 degree, I can say that tan 45 is equal to BC divided by PC. And tan 45 is 1, which is BC divided by PC is 120, which implies that BC is equal to 120 meters. And therefore, I can say that the length AB is going to be AC minus BC. This complete length is 120 root 3. I'm sorry, I incorrectly marked it as 120. The complete length is 120 root 3 meters and the length BC is 120 meters. Therefore, I can say that AB is 120 root 3 minus 120. Taking 120 out as common, it is 120 times root 3 minus 1, which is 120 times 1.732 minus 1 is 0.732. And this is going to be 12 times 7.32. So now I can go ahead and calculate this. So 12 sevens are 84 and I know that 12 into 0.32 is 3.84. Therefore, the total is going to be 87.84. Therefore, the height by which it should be raised is 87.84 meters. This is the final answer. So let me pause for a minute while you take a look at the solution. Take a look at the word problem, then the diagram, and then see how we solve this particular problem. Let us now take a look at the next question. The shadow of a vertical tower increases by 10 meters when the altitude of the sun changes from 45 degrees to 30 degrees. Find the height of the tower correct to 2 decimal places. So imagine that this is the ground, this is the vertical tower. So this is the vertical tower. So let's label the tower as TR. When the angle of elevation of the sun, so altitude of the sun changes from 45 degrees means that the initial angle of elevation is 45 degrees and therefore the sun was spotted at 45 degrees with respect to the ground. Okay, and therefore the first shadow is going to be SR. So SR is basically the shadow of the tower. SR is the shadow of the tower when the elevation of sun is 45 degrees. Now the elevation of sun changes to 30 degrees, that is the sun is getting lower, and that is why the shadow of this particular tower is going to be RQ, right? So RQ or QR is basically the shadow of the tower, when the sun is at 45 degrees, when the altitude or the elevation of sun is basically 30 degrees, right? So when the sun gets lower, the shadows get longer. And by how much did the shadow increase? So the initial shadow was SR and the new shadow is now QR. They are saying that the shadow length increased by 10 meters. That means QS is the increase in the shadow length and QS is given by 10 meters. So QS is therefore 10 meters. This is the increase in the length of the shadow. We need to find the height of the tower. So let us assign H as the height of the tower. Of course, if you notice, SR is also going to be important and we do not know its value. So let us go ahead and assign a variable to it. So let the variable be X here. So we have introduced two variables, H as the height of the tower and X as the horizontal distance between the first shadow and the base of the tower. So now we have two variables, H and X. That means we need two equations. So we are going to go ahead and frame two equations. But before that, I will pause for a few seconds so that you can correlate the question with the diagram. So now I am first going to take up triangle TSR. I know that it is a right angle triangle. I can apply trigonometry. So in triangle TSR, with respect to 45 degrees, with respect to 45 degrees. H is the opposite side and X is the adjacent side. That means tan 45. So in triangle TSR, tan 45 is going to be H upon X, of which tan 45 is 1. So 1 is equal to H upon X, which implies H is equal to X. This is the first relation that is going to be of use to me. Now let me take the second triangle. Of course, I cannot pick triangle TQS. I cannot pick triangle TQS because it is not a right angle triangle. I will have to pick the complete triangle TQR. So I can say that in triangle TQR, with respect to 30 degrees. So now that I am taking triangle TQR, you should forget about the 45 degree and the line segment TS. So consider this triangle as a whole. I can say that tan 30 degree is equal to the opposite side, which is H, divided by the adjacent side. So the adjacent side QR is going to be 10 plus X. Tan 30 is 1 by root 3. So 1 by root 3 is equal to H by 10 plus X. Cross multiplying, 10 plus X becomes root 3H. Now substitute X as H. Therefore 10 plus H becomes equal to root 3H. And this implies root 3H minus H is equal to 10. Which means H multiplied by root 3 minus 1 is 10. And therefore H is equal to 10 divided by root 3 minus 1. Now of course I need to rationalize the denominator. So let me multiply with root 3 plus 1. And therefore I get H equals 10 times root 3 plus 1 divided by 2. And 10 and 2 cancel 5 times. Therefore this becomes 5 multiplied by 2.732. And now you can calculate this value because 1.732 is root 3. So 1.732 plus 1 is 2.732. And 2.732 multiplied by 5 is going to be 13.66. Therefore, the height of this particular tower is 13.66 meters. Of course, they have not asked me for the value of X, and that is why I will not find that value. But in case they ask the value of the length of the initial shadow, then X is going to be equal to H. So initially the shadow was 13.66 meters long. So pausing for a minute before I continue with the next question. Moving on to the next question. Okay, let us solve the following one. A 1.4 meter tall girl spots a balloon. Okay, so this is the ground. This is the girl. The height of the observer is mentioned in this case. So the height of this girl is 1.4 meters. She spots a balloon moving with the wind in a horizontal direction at a height of 91.4 meters above the ground. So the balloon is somewhere over here. It is at an altitude of 91.4 meters. That is also given to me. So this is 91.4 meters. And the angle of elevation of the balloon from the eyes of the girl at that instant is 60 degrees. So that means from the eyes of the girl to the balloon, the angle of elevation is 60 degrees. So if I were to draw the normal line of sight is parallel to the ground. So it is now known that this particular angle was 60 degrees. This is the angle of inclination So this particular angle was measured to be 60 degrees. Now the balloon is moving horizontally. That means either the balloon will move to the left or the balloon is going to move to the right. Now we have to find out whether the balloon is moving to the left or whether the balloon is moving to the right. Now let's read and let's see what is given. So it is given that, and then the angle of elevation after some time reduces to 30 degrees. That means what is happening is the angle of elevation of the same balloon after it has moved horizontally is reduced to 30 degrees. That means, think about it, if the balloon moves to the left, of course the angle of elevation will increase. You notice that if the balloon moves to the left, the angle of elevation is going to increase because it is moving closer to the observer. But it's given that the angle of elevation changes to 30 degrees, which implies that the balloon has to move away from the observer. Because the balloon moves away from the observer, the angle of elevation will reduce. That means in this case, the balloon is moving to the right. So let's assume that the balloon initially was at point A and now the balloon is at point B. The angle of elevation, if you notice, the angle of elevation now reduces to 30 degrees, right? If you notice, the angle of elevation will now reduce to 30 degrees. So this particular angle is now going to be 30 degrees. We have to find the distance traveled by the balloon. So again, because the balloon is moving horizontally, I can say that the height of the balloon at point B is also going to be 91.4 meters. So this total height is also going to be 91.4 meters. And of course, I can extend the normal line of sight. This is the normal line of sight. Right, this is the normal line of sight. The distance traveled by the balloon is basically AB. The distance traveled by balloon is basically the distance AB. And since I have drawn perpendiculars to the ground, I can consider this point to be C, this is D, this is E, and let us consider this point as F, G, and H. So now you will observe that the distance traveled by the balloon is equal to AB, or it is also equal to GH, or it is also equal to DC, because these are rectangles, right? ABHG is a rectangle. Similarly, GHCD is also a rectangle. So now I am going to pause for a minute, take a look at the question and the diagram, and then we will see how to find the solution. Okay, so now let us do one thing. Let us first find, or let us first consider the triangle FGB. I can very easily find the length of BH because this particular length is 1.4 meters, HC is 1.4 meters, and the total height of the balloon is 91.4 meters. Which tells me that the height BH is going to be 91.4 minus 1.4, which is going to be 90 meters. So the length BH is going to be 90 meters. And therefore, I can use this particular triangle FBH, to calculate the total length FH. Similarly, if BC is 90 meters, then the length AG should also be equal to 90 meters. So let me first consider triangle FBH, that is the triangle which is highlighted right now. With respect to 30 degree, I know the opposite side, I want the adjacent side. So tan is the right ratio. So tan 30 is therefore going to be 90 divided by FH, right? Tan 30 is 1 by root 3 is equal to 90 by FH. And this implies the length FH is going to be 90 root 3 meters, right? So this entire length, this entire horizontal length is 90 root 3 meters, right? This is 90 root 3 meters. And now I am going to consider the triangle FAG. So let us now shade the triangle FAG. So in triangle FAG, I have 60 degree angle, right? That was the first angle of elevation. So I have this 60 degree angle, and of course I have 90 meters. So I can find FG. Again, I can say consider triangle FAG. So in triangle FAG, tan 60 degrees is again going to be equal to AG divided by FG. And tan 60 is root 3. So root 3 is equal to AG is 90 divided by FG, which means FG is going to be 90 divided by root 3. And if you multiply and divide by root 3, you will get 30 root 3 meters. That means this particular horizontal length, the length FG, is therefore equal to 30 root 3 meters. And now it's not difficult to find the length GH. So I can say that GH is going to be FH minus FG, and that is going to be 90 root 3 minus 30 root 3, and that is going to be equal to 60 root 3 meters. Of course, you can substitute the value of root 3. So it will be 60 multiplied by 1.732, and that is equal to 6 into 17.32. And if you calculate this, this is going to be 103.92 meters. That is, this horizontal length GH is 103.92 meters, and therefore the distance traveled by the balloon is also 103.92 meters. Right? So this is how I can find the distance covered by the balloon during this particular time. Of course, over here, if I knew the time taken by the balloon to make this horizontal displacement, then I can easily find the speed of this balloon by using the idea that speed is equal to distance upon time. Right? So this is how I can solve this particular problem. Pausing for a minute before taking up the next one. Moving on to the next question. Let's take a look at the following question. From 2 points A and B on the same side of the building, the angle of elevation of the top of the same building are 30 degree and 60 degree respectively. So the points A and B are on the same side of the building. So let us draw the ground. Then we have a building. The angle of elevation of the top of this building. So this is the top of the building, and this is the bottom of the building. the angle of elevation of the top of the building from 2 points. So this is point A. So from point A it is 30 degrees. Therefore point A has to be further away from the building, right? So this is the point A and this is point B. Because the angle of elevation from A is 30 degree and angle of elevation from the point B is 60 degrees. That is why A has to be further away. So therefore this angle is the angle of elevation from B, which is 60 degrees. This is the angle of elevation from A, which is 30 degrees. It is given that the height of the building is 10 meters. Find the distance between A and B correct to 2 decimal places. So we now basically have to find this particular distance. So let this distance be X. So again I will pause for a few seconds, take a look at the word problem and the diagram, and then we shall solve this question. So now to calculate the distance X, first I am going to take the triangle. So let's label the points. So this is A, B, C and D. So I can take triangle BCD. So in triangle BCD, I can state that tan 60 is going to be the opposite side upon the adjacent side. So therefore root 3 is going to be 10 upon BC, which means BC is equal to 10 upon root 3. Therefore this particular length is 10 divided by root 3. And now I can take the complete triangle. So of course I cannot take triangle ABD because it's not a right angle triangle. So I'm going to consider the complete triangle. So in triangle ACD, I can say that with respect to 30 degree, 10 is the opposite side and the length AC is the adjacent side. So tan 30 is going to be the opposite side, which is 10 divided by the adjacent side, which is x plus 10 upon root 3. Now tan 30 is 1 by root 3. So 1 by root 3 is going to be 10 divided by x plus 10 by root 3. And cross multiplying, I get x plus 10 upon root 3 is equal to 10 root 3. So what I did over here was I shifted root 3 to the other side for multiplication and x plus 10 root 3 to the other side for multiplication. And therefore x is equal to 10 root 3 minus 10 upon root 3. Of course the LCM is root 3. So this becomes 10 root 3 into root 3 minus 10, which is equal to root 3 into root 3 is 3. 3 multiplied by 10 is 30. 30 minus 10 is 20. Therefore this is going to be 20 upon root 3. Therefore the length x is going to be 20 divided by root 3. Of course I need to rationalize the denominator. So let's multiply and divide by root 3. So this becomes 20 root 3 upon 3. And 20 root 3 is 34.64 divided by 3. And now I can find this value. This is going to be 11.546 bar meters. And that is basically going to be 11.55 meters. So we can round it off to 11.55 meters. So again, pausing for a minute before I take up the next question. Moving on to the next question. Let's take a look at the following question. The angle of elevation of a jet plane from a point A on the ground is 60 degrees. So this is the ground. There is a jet plane right over here. This is the jet plane. And from a point on the ground, the angle of elevation is observed to be 60 degrees. So this particular angle is 60 degrees now. After a flight of 15 seconds, the angle of elevation changes to 30 degrees. So again, we now need to think about, is the plane going towards the right or is the plane going towards the left? If the plane moves towards the left, the angle of inclination or angle of elevation has to increase. But we notice that the angle of elevation is actually decreasing in this question. Initially, the angle of elevation was 60 degrees and now the angle of elevation is 30 degrees. That means this particular plane has to move towards the right. Only in this case, the angle of elevation is going to decrease. So now the angle of elevation was found to be 30 degrees. That is, this particular angle is 30 degrees. Let this particular point be K, let this point be P. And the jet plane is flying horizontally at a height of 15,000 multiplied by square root of 3. That is, the perpendicular height of this plane is not changing. It is flying horizontal. So I can say that this perpendicular height is given to me as 1500 times square root of 3 meters. This is the perpendicular height of this particular plane, right? So now I need to find the speed of this particular jet. Now of course I can find the speed. I know that the speed is given by, speed is going to be distance upon time. Speed is distance upon time. And the distance of this jet plane, the distance that the jet plane covers is actually the line segment JK, right? So this is the distance covered. I know that the time is 15 seconds. So let me first find my speed in meters per second and then I can easily convert it into kilometers per hour. So I first need to find the distance JK, and JK is actually equal to the distance QR because JKRQ is actually a rectangle, right? So I can also find the distance QR and claim that that is the distance traveled by this jet plane. So to find the distance, let me first take up this complete triangle, triangle PKR. I know that the height is 1500 root 3. So I can say in triangle PKR, with respect to 30 degrees, 1500 root 3 is the opposite side, PR is the horizontal side. So I can say tan 30 is equal to, opposite side is 1500 root 3 divided by the horizontal length is PR, and therefore tan 30 is 1 by root 3 is equal to 1500 root 3 divided by PR, and therefore cross multiplying we get PR equals 1500 root 3 multiplied by root 3, which is equal to 1500 into 3, that is equal to 4500 meters. Therefore the horizontal distance PR is therefore equal to 4500 meters. This horizontal distance is 4500 meters. And similarly, I can now find the distance PQ by considering the following triangle. So I can consider the triangle PJQ. This is the triangle that I am trying to consider right now. So I can say in triangle PJQ, with respect to 60 degrees. So please note that now 60 degrees is the angle that we should consider. So with respect to 60 degree, 1500 root 3 is known and PQ is to be found. So again, tan is the right ratio. So tan 60 is therefore going to be 1500 root 3, the opposite side upon the adjacent side, which is PQ. And therefore root 3 is equal to 1500 root 3 divided by PQ, which implies PQ is equal to 1500 root 3 divided by root 3. Root 3 cancels. Therefore, the length PQ is 1500 meters. And now it is easily possible to calculate the length of QR. So QR, which is basically the distance traveled by the aeroplane. So QR is actually equal to JK, right? So QR is the distance traveled by aeroplane, which is going to be 4500 minus 1500, which is basically 3000 meters. And now I can easily calculate the speed. So speed is going to be the distance. Distance covered is 3000 meters upon time, which is 15 seconds. And if I calculate this becomes 200 meters per second. Now, of course, I can convert this particular speed into kilometers per hour. I know that I should multiply this by 3.6, which is 18 by 5, and then I will get the speed in kilometers per hour. Therefore, this is 720 kilometers per hour. The speed of the given aeroplane is 720 kilometers per hour. This is how I can find the speed of this particular plane. So, pausing for a minute while you take a look at the solution. Try to correlate the word problem with the diagram and then of course with the working. Moving on to the next question. From the top of a cliff 75 meters high, the angle of depression of the top and bottom of a tower are observed to be 30 degree and 60 degree respectively. So imagine that you are standing on the top of this cliff, which is 75 meters high. Okay, so this is the ground and this is the cliff. So if you are standing on the top of the cliff, then your normal line of sight is going to be a line which is parallel to the ground. So this is the cliff, this is the top and this is the bottom of the cliff. The height here is 75 meters. When you stand on this particular cliff, the normal line of sight is going to be a line which is horizontal to the ground, right? So this is the normal line of sight. The angle of depression, that means to view the top and bottom of a tower, there is an angle of depression that is experienced, right? The angle of depression of the top and bottom of a tower are observed to be 30 degree and 60 degree respectively. So to view this particular tower, you experience an angle of depression. Even to view the top of the tower, you experience an angle of depression. So let's assume that this is the top of the tower, right? By the way, this is the top of the tower. So let me name the tower as AC. This is the tower. To view the top of the tower, there is an angle of depression of 30 degrees. So you have to rotate your head by 30 degrees. And to view the bottom of the tower, you have to rotate your head by 60 degrees. That is, this whole angle is now 60 degrees. What we have to do is, we have to find the height of this particular tower. So let me again pause for a few seconds while you correlate this question with the diagram. Okay, so now what I can do is, I can draw a line from A, which is horizontal to the ground, and I can convert these angles of depression into angles of elevation. So what I mean by that is, if you think about it, this particular angle, the 60 degree angle, is actually equal to the angle BCT, because these are alternate interior angles, right? So this angle is also going to be 60 degree. At the same time, TA is also transversal and AD is also parallel to the normal line of sight. That means if this angle is 30, so the angle depicted over here is 30 degrees, this angle is 30, and therefore I can say that even angle DAT is equal to 30 degrees. Now if I want to find AC, I am first going to find the length of TD, and if I can find TD, then subtracting TD from 75 will give me BD, and AC is equal to BD. So I can say that AC is equal to BD. The reason being ADBC is a rectangle, and now what I can do is, I can consider the complete triangle, that is triangle TBC, right? From triangle TBC, I can first find the length of BC. So I can say in triangle TBC, I can say that tan 60 degrees is equal to the opposite side. Opposite side is 75 divided by the adjacent side, which is BC. Therefore, root 3 is equal to 75 divided by BC, and therefore BC is equal to 75 divided by root 3. So multiplying numerator and denominator by root 3, we get BC is equal to 75 root 3 divided by 3, and 75 upon 3 is 25. Therefore, the length of BC becomes 25 times root 3. This is the length of BC, and this implies the length of AD is also 25 root 3 meters, right? So this particular length is also 25 root 3. And now I can pick the triangle ADT. So because I have the horizontal length now, I can now go ahead and pick the triangle ADT. So let's pick triangle ADT. So I can say that in triangle ADT, I can say that tan 30 is equal to the opposite side, that is TD, divided by the adjacent side, which is 25 root 3. And I know that tan 30 is 1 by root 3 is TD upon 25 root 3. Cross multiplying, I get TD is 25 root 3 upon root 3. And therefore TD is equal to 25 meters. That means this particular length is 25 meters and the whole length is 75 meters. Therefore, I can say that length BD is 75 minus 25, which is equal to 50 meters. So therefore, BD is 50 meters, which means that AC is also 50 meters, and therefore the height of this particular tower is 50 meters. This is how I can approach this particular problem. So what is indeed amazing about this is, imagine that you are really standing on a tower. Okay, you know the height of the tower, but you do not know the height of the, sorry, imagine that you are standing on a cliff and you know the height of the cliff. The height of the cliff is 75 meters. Without even going to the tower, you are just measuring the angle of depression. Measuring angle of depression is quite possible, right? So you can measure the angle of depression of the top and bottom of a tower, and sitting at the top of the cliff you can really calculate the height of the tower. That is the strength and that is the power of using trigonometry. So again, pausing for a minute before moving on to the next one. Moving on to the next question. So let us solve this problem. From the top of a hill, so let us draw the ground, then there is a hill. So this is the ground, this is the hill. From the top of a hill, the angle of depression of two consecutive kilometer stones. So kilometer stones are those stones which are marked with those kilometer numbers, right? If you notice, when you go to different places, you will notice that to give an indication of how much distance is left, they place kilometer stones. So these are the 2 kilometer stones which are placed due east. Now kilometer stones means the distance between them has to be 1 kilometer, right? So 2 kilometer stones would definitely be spaced apart by 1 kilometer. The angle of depression of two consecutive, so because it's consecutive, the distance between them would be 1 kilometer. So these are the two consecutive kilometer stones, and if you stand at the top of this particular hill, so this is H and this is L, this is the top of the hill. So if you stand on the top of the hill, this is going to be the normal line of sight, right? So this is the normal line of sight. The angle of elevation is 30 and 45 degree. That means this particular angle is the angle of elevation of the kilometer stone A, and 45 degree is the angle of elevation of the second kilometer stone. Therefore, by using alternate interior angles, I can say that angle HBL is 45 degree and angle HAL is 30 degree. Now I have to find the distance of the two stones from the foot of the hill. So basically in this question, I have to find the distance BL and the distance AL. So let me pause for a few seconds while I let you take a look at the word problem and of course the diagram. So if you notice, every time we are converting an angle of depression problem into an angle of elevation problem. Over here we now have two variables. Let the height of the tower be h and let the distance LB be x. So I can first take the triangle HLB. I can say that in triangle HLB, I can say that tan 45 degrees, tan 45 is equal to h upon x, and tan 45 is 1, which means 1 equals h upon x, which implies h is equal to x. This is the first equation that I can build from the given question. Similarly, I can also take the complete triangle. I can take triangle AHL, right? And I can take 30 degree as the angle. So now I can say that in triangle HAL, I can say tan 30 degrees. Tan 30 degree is equal to the opposite length, which is h, divided by the adjacent length, which is x plus 1. If you notice, LB is x and BA is 1, and therefore LA is equal to x plus 1. Therefore, here I am assuming that all the distances h and x are measured in kilometers, because this is 1 kilometer. Therefore, 1 upon root 3 is equal to h upon x plus 1, and therefore x plus 1 is equal to h root 3. This is my second equation. So now what am I supposed to find? I am supposed to find the value of x. That's the distance between the first kilometer stone and the hill. And then of course if I add 1 to it, I'll get the distance of the second kilometer stone from the hill. So now from these two equations, I can substitute h as x. So the equation 2 becomes, instead of h I'm substituting x. So x plus 1 becomes x root 3, which means 1 equals x root 3 minus x, and therefore 1 is equal to x times root 3 minus 1, and therefore x is equal to 1 upon root 3 minus 1. Of course, I can rationalize the denominator. So I can multiply by root 3 plus 1 and root 3 plus 1. And therefore, I get x equals root 3 plus 1 divided by a square minus b square, which is root 3 square minus 1 square. And therefore, x is root 3 plus 1 upon 3 minus 1 is 2, which is 1.732 plus 1 is 2.732 divided by 2, which is 1.366 kilometers, right? Therefore, the distance of first stone, distance of B from L is x, which is 1.366 kilometers, and the distance of stone A, from L will be 1.366 plus 1, which is 2.366 kilometers. So this is the distance of both the stones from the given hill. So this is how I can solve this particular problem. So we end our today's session here. I will pause for a minute and end the solution and end this particular session. Take a look at this particular solution, the word problem, the diagram, and of course the working. ending today's session here.